My name is Ethan Walker. I was 24 years old when my father looked me directly in the eyes during my sister's college orientation and said something that followed me for the next 4 years of my life. Your sister has more potential. He didn't whisper it. He didn't hesitate. He didn't even sound cruel. That was the worst part. He said it casually, like it was obvious, like it was a fact everyone in the room already understood except me. At the time I just nodded, because when you grow up in a family where one child is treated like the investment and the other is treated like the backup plan, silence becomes survival. My younger sister Chloe got everything. Private tutoring, dance lessons, a brand new car at 16, college tours across 3 different states, a savings account my parents started for her before she even finished middle school. Meanwhile, I got lectures about responsibility. I got second-hand furniture. I got part-time jobs. I got told that real adults figure things out themselves. And the worst part? I actually believed them. I believed Chloe was smarter, more gifted, more important. I believed my struggles were normal because nobody ever taught me I deserved help too. That sentence followed me everywhere. Your sister has more potential. My mother said it when they refused to help with my dorm deposit. My father said it when I started working night shifts instead of going away to college. Even Chloe started saying it eventually. Not cruelly at first. Just confidently. Like she'd heard it so many times she assumed it had to be true. I didn't understand then how dangerous those words would become. Or that one day in front of hundreds of people, those same words would completely destroy my parents. Because 4 years later, at graduation, the dean stepped onto that stage, adjusted his glasses, smiled toward the audience, and called my name as valedictorian. Not Chloe's. Mine. And when the entire auditorium went silent, I finally understood something that took me years to learn. Potential means absolutely nothing without sacrifice. Before we start, if stories about family betrayal, emotional revenge, and impossible comebacks mean something to you, take a second to like and subscribe. And tell me where you're listening from tonight. Now let me take you back to the exact moment I realized I was never going to matter as much as my sister. It happened in our kitchen. August. 103 degrees outside. The smell of burnt coffee hanging in the air, because my mother always forgot the coffee pot when she got stressed. Chloe had just received her acceptance letter to Western Lake University. My mother started crying before Chloe even opened it. Not because she was emotional, because she already knew Chloe got in. My father had been calling admissions offices for weeks like he was running a political campaign. I remember Chloe standing barefoot on the kitchen tile wearing oversized sweatpants and one of my old hoodies. She opened the envelope slowly. Then she screamed. My mother screamed. My father actually clapped. And me? I stood there holding a box of cereal, watching them celebrate like someone had cured cancer. We knew it. My mother kept repeating. We knew you were special. My father grabbed Chloe by the shoulders. This is the beginning of your real future. Then his eyes shifted toward me, and the entire mood in the room changed instantly. Ethan, he said, you should pay attention to your sister. Learn from her ambition. I remember tightening my grip on the cereal box so hard the cardboard bent inward under my fingers. The thing nobody cared about? I had already been accepted into community college. I had scholarships too. Not full rides, but enough to matter. Enough that another family might have been proud. But not mine. Because Chloe got into a university with brick buildings and ivy-covered walls and glossy brochures showing smiling students throwing frisbees across giant green lawns. And suddenly my accomplishments became invisible. That night at dinner, my father made the announcement official. We're paying Chloe's tuition in full. He said it while cutting steak. Like it was completely ordinary. Like they hadn't spent my entire senior year telling me money was tight. I looked up slowly from my plate. You said you couldn't help with mine. My mother didn't even look guilty. Your sister has more potential. There it was again. That sentence. Clean. Sharp. Effortless. Like a knife they'd used so many times it barely required pressure anymore. I stared at the steam rising from my mashed potatoes because I knew if I looked at them too long I'd say something unforgivable. Beside me, Chloe shifted awkwardly in her chair. To this day, I don't think she knew what to do during moments like that. Because being the favorite child sounds fun, until you realize your entire identity depends on staying impressive enough to remain loved. I can take loans, I said quietly. My father nodded immediately. Exactly. That's called responsibility. Responsibility. Funny word. Apparently it only applied to me. Not Chloe. Never Chloe. I should have realized then what my parents were building between us. Not a family. A hierarchy. And I was already standing at the bottom of it. 3 weeks later, I moved into a tiny apartment 20 minutes from campus. 1 bedroom. Water stains on the ceiling. A refrigerator that hummed loud enough to wake me up at night. The landlord handed me the keys while smoking a cigarette and said, "Don't lean on the balcony railing too hard." That should tell you everything you need to know about the place. I worked evenings unloading delivery trucks at a warehouse near the highway. 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. Then classes at 8 in the morning. There were nights my hands shook so badly from exhaustion, I could barely hold a pencil. But every Sunday, my mother posted pictures of Chloe online. Future attorney. Our brilliant girl. So proud of our daughter. Meanwhile, I was eating instant noodles beside a broken fan trying to stay awake long enough to finish economics homework. At the time, I stayed quiet. That's important. Because people assume resentment always explodes loudly. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it becomes discipline. I stopped asking for help after the first semester. Stopped calling home unless necessary. Stopped mentioning grades. Not because I was failing. Because I was doing well. And somehow that felt worse. I remember getting my first 4.0 report card. I stared at the screen in the library for almost 10 minutes before calling my mother. She answered on speakerphone. I could hear Chloe laughing in the background. "Mom," I said, "I got straight A's." "That's great, honey." Distracted. Distant. Then immediately. "Did you hear Chloe made Dean's List?" I closed my eyes. "I was literally just telling you my grades." "I know," she said. "But Chloe's university is much harder." That sentence would come back to haunt her later. At the warehouse, there was an older guy named Marcus who worked loading docks beside me. 48 years old. Divorced. Permanent back pain. Always smelled faintly like peppermint gum and motor oil. One night around 1 in the morning, he caught me studying during lunch break. "You trying to get out of here?" he asked. "Yeah." He nodded slowly. "Good. Don't stay too long. This place teaches people how to give up." That line stayed with me. Because he wasn't bitter when he said it. Just honest. The warehouse was full of men who once had plans. You could see it in the way they stared at younger workers. Like they were looking at ghosts of themselves. So I kept going. Class. Work. Study. Repeat. Every single day blurred into fluorescent lights and caffeine. Meanwhile, Chloe's life looked perfect online. Football games. Sorority parties. Beach trips. My parents paid for everything. Apartment. Meal plan. Spring break vacations in Miami. One Christmas, my father bought Chloe a brand new MacBook because law students need good equipment. That same night, he handed me a $25 gas station gift card. I wish I was exaggerating. I remember holding that card beneath the glow of the Christmas tree lights while Chloe opened jewelry beside me. My mother noticed my expression immediately. "What?" "Nothing. Don't start." I laughed quietly. Actually laughed. Because somehow I was still the problem. Always. That night, before leaving for my apartment, I grabbed an old envelope from my childhood bedroom closet. Yellowed edges. Bent corners. My scholarship letter. The one from freshman year. The one my parents barely acknowledged because Chloe got accepted somewhere prettier 2 weeks later. I don't know why I kept it. Maybe because it was proof somebody once believed in me. Maybe because I needed physical evidence that my life mattered too. That envelope became a ritual. Whenever things got hard, I'd unfold it carefully and reread the first sentence. "Congratulations, Ethan Walker." No one else celebrated it. So I learned to celebrate it alone. And honestly, that changes a person.